talk your way out of it, or we can just be ready and we can be active and we can, you know, take care of it. And I think the thing that would have helped that whole idea is if we saw some of what Pike went through. But we didn't. And I understand that. As a fan, I understand you didn't see any of that, and TV is visual. And you didn't see any of it, so you don't know. You don't know what he went through. You heard one story, like I told a story about it, and that's Pike's history, that's his background, and that's okay. Let's move on, you know. And so you never really got to see it. And then I think in the editing, some of the stuff that I thought was softened is gone. And like the scene when I sentenced Cain to death, like that's like the perfect example of editing, because that was such a big scene. We did it two ways, because the writer that was there wanted to, like the first way I did it, because Cain and Pike are really good friends. And we have a scene, you know, I'm over, you know, they do the shot and Cain is sitting down and Pike is here, and Pike is telling him because of this and this and that, I'm gonna put you to death. Well, there's a part in the middle where I literally come up to the table and I kneel down to him and we have a heart-to-heart and we talk about how we were friends. And I tell him how much he meant to me, you know, blah, 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 and I'm sorry that, you know, you put me in this position, you know, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we have that really nice moment. And that's like the moment where Ian and I joke, but that's the moment where we like fell in love with each other, you know, as people, you know, because it was such a strong scene. And everybody, the director, like his cut, the director gets a cut of the show, of the episode. After he or she shoots it, they get an edit. This is the version that I want to show on TV. But the director doesn't have that much power in TV. So he gets his version, it's a legal thing, he gets his time to do his version of it. And then the producers take it and they go, no, this is the version we're gonna do. So in his version, all of that was in there. Even the beginning part was a much more, I don't wanna do this, but ultimately, Cain was trying to kill the elected chancellor of Arcadia. When we were on the Ark, you would be floated for stealing some water. You would be floated for, you know, and Cain was the dude floating you. Cain was ready to float Abby for using some extra medicine or whatever it was to save Jaha. So you're gonna float the doctor for saving the chancellor's life because of some little teeny technicality. And Cain was gonna do that. And so now here, Pike is basically gonna float Cain because you made a deal with, at least how Pike sees it, with our enemies to have me killed, to take over. You're basically as a coup. And so to me, it was a no-brainer that made sense to me. But it was still painful, it's still hurtful for Pike to do. But you never see that. It's edited, so you don't see that. And you know, so and I have to, you know, that's cool, that's whatever. And that's part of creating a character, you know. And I respect that, you know. There's nobody to blame, and I'm not, you know. But that's part of that. That's usually why I never watch anything I do, because how it turns out has nothing to do with me. To some degree, I mean, I've done my job, but now it's just going to be edited, and I have no say in the editing, so I don't really watch. But this time I was watching The 100 because, you know, people were live tweeting, and it was, for me, it was a new thing, you know. I'd done a little bit on a couple of other things, but never like a full season of live tweeting, which I thought was fun. And, you know, I like to say hi to people on Twitter, and, you know, it was fun for me. So that's why I was really watching it. But, you know, that's how it is. I don't know if I answered your question.
Follow-up.
Yeah.
So they don't take the director's cut into consideration, because that's huge. That's a big chunk that.
Well, I'm sure they take it in consideration, but the director's the hired gun.
Right.
I mean, unless you're their number one director, there's a guy named Dean White, who's a fantastic director, and he's a directing producer, so his version has a lot more weight, because that's what he's there for, you know, to help shape the show. But ultimately, you know, Jason, whomever, you know, Jason is the man, so Jason, you know, Dean's version is much more close to what's going to happen at the end. But any other director comes in, they get their pass, and then they have no say in how the creator wants to change things. None. And it's not like they can say, well, what are you doing? I mean, they can argue if they want to, but they know ultimately they don't, because they know it doesn't matter. Somebody's, they're going to do what they want to do to it.
Last question.
We could do a couple more, two more.
Okay.
What?
Have you ever been reading like a script specifically, like the 100 and been like, damn, this is some messed up shit right here?
Oh yeah. Well, when I read I Had to Kill Lincoln, I was I was at home, and I was at the hotel, and I was reading it, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, and I literally started crying. I was like, oh no. I was getting really close to Ricky, and I was like, all the stuff that Pike did, and now he's gonna kill Lincoln, and it was like, and you just, and Lexa had been killed, and I knew that wasn't aired, but I knew that had been done, and so yeah, it was, it was messed up. But again, I understood why, and I think there's for instance, there's some nice stuff between Ricky and I before I shoot him, that I think is not there, but Pike, I think of all people, Pike had the best respect for Lincoln. I don't know if that came across, but there were some things that we did, like when Lincoln wouldn't press charges against my guy for throwing a rock at him, and he and Kane wanted him to press charges, and Lincoln was like, no, and I thanked him, but I just knew he was a stand-up guy. He did what he said he would do, and I think Pike respected that. And so the fact that he knows if he runs, his people are going to be killed, or whatever Pike was going to do, that it was like, no, this is my responsibility, and I was a part of this uprising, so I'm going to take the punishment that was, so Pike really respected that, but it was hard to watch. And then when I called Ricky right after that, I was like, oh man, and he was like, bro, it's all good, He knew he was going to do American Gods, so he was ready to go, and he's gonna kick ass in American Gods. He's got a huge role that he's gonna be doing. Who was it? Did you have a question?
Well, I was going back to your third watch phase. What who do you feel with Monty should have been in a relationship with? It didn't seem like they wanted to.
Monty is oddly enough, when you said that, that's a character I played in a show a long time ago. But Doc,
Yeah.
But Doc, yeah, he should have been with Morales.
Yeah.
But the thing about that, again, that's the second season. But Morales was not a regular, and Lisa Vidal, who I love, and they should have offered her a regular job, but they didn't, and she got another job. Somebody offered her another job, so she was like, oh, I'm going to be a regular on the show. So she went and did that show. So they have to find a way to write that off, so that, because this character had a great relationship, and they were getting married, and everything was going beautifully. And because they don't give her a regular position on the show, she found a regular position on another show. And so the direction they were going in now has to be completely changed. So they come up real fast with a quick reason why we can't be married and we can't get together. So that it's usually stupid, it's because you're in love and everything is good, but they have to come up with some reason for it not to happen, because they're losing the actors. So that's what happened. Otherwise, you know, they
And
would
it
have
was
been together.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, yeah, and it's you know, that happened on Third Watch. It happened on ER when I was on ER.
Yeah.
You know, all yeah, it's yeah.
One
part
quick
of-
comment, because
yeah.
my daughter's not here, but she told me to tell you that she loved you in Third Watch because of me, but she loved you in Ruby Bridges.
Ruby Bridges, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You know, and to play, you know, real people is always exciting. So, okay. Well, thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you so much. Stop by our booth.
Are
you gonna be back at
Yeah,
the
we'll
booth?
be at the booth.
I'm gonna go right now. Yeah, yeah.
Well, we gotta get a picture, so.
Or could we get a real quick, as you're going out picture, like a 2-second
Well, it's
picture?
because I believe we have a photo op. That's why we had to kind of.
Oh, we got a photo op?
Yeah.
Come by. We'll work it.
Can I just like, real quick, thank you so much, I love you.
Thank you.
I think
All
it
right.
took.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yes, I've tried to come by a couple of times, so